Hello, Beard Wizard family. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Beard Wizard Man, also known as Trevor on social media. Links to all of which you're going to find in that video description below, including ways to support this channel, like clicking that red subscribe button and joining the Beard Wizard family. Get us to 7,500 as soon as possible. Other ways, my merch store, books, all kinds of things in the video description, different ways to support the channel. But really, the biggest thing you can do for us is just click that subscribe button. Also, it's football season. Officially started yesterday, but Kansas City plays tonight. So this is the first day of football season for me. So you're going to see more KC gear until the spring. So hopefully you don't mind. If you do, oh well, it's my channel. But it's Friday, so we take a look at new releases from bands who we already review. And Castle Rat put out a new one. We just added Castle Rat to the roster just a couple weeks ago, I think, and really enjoy this sort of old school metal feel with the fantasy theme and all of that. Like, we used to have metal bands back in the day, and we do have a handful that are themed this way. Sabaton comes to mind, and I can't remember the name of the other band, but they dress up as dwarves. There's a handful of bands out there doing this, but Castle Rat does it like very lo-fi, like just you'll see. If you're not familiar, you'll see what I mean here in a little bit. But it reminds me of those bands, those older metal bands that we used to listen to, that sort of meshed at the time Dungeons and Dragons with metal, and that's what Castle Rat gives us. So we're going to take a look at Wolf Eye from Castle Rat. Pause is necessary, talk about the music, etc. and so on. If you're in the live stream, say hi. And if you're watching that recording, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. But this is Wolf Eye from Castle Rat. Cheers.
Upon a trail forgotten, a beast before me passing, I glimpsed you in a life before, just as silver, quick and flashing. Let the ravens cackle as they beckon or a warning. I am enough to find.
What a start. And we've already got this intro is longer than expected, and I usually go a minute or so in, but we haven't really heard the chorus yet or anything. But I mean, this gives you a sense right here of what we're about to get into. Now, that guitar riff, that driving bass line, and those drums are only going to get more intense as this builds. This is building to this sort of dark crescendo, this almost Hunt type feel to the song, which makes sense as we watch this video. But like they're shooting this video, they have to be on like an old camcorder, or they're using a computer to down res this or something, because again, they throw way back, which is really cool. Not a lot of bands are willing to do this, take this risk to do this sort of low res, lo-fi kind of thing, and it sounds great. It works so well with what they're doing here.
I
and back into that driving drum. This makes me think so much of like Sabbath back in the day. Just the way the sound, the distortion on the guitars, that driving low thrumming sort of guitar riff and bass, and the drums. The drums on this one I think are really the prominent feature, which kind of makes sense, I guess, if you're thinking like, the driving heartbeat, the haunt, the thumping of the race, the pumping of your blood. It makes sense to have the drums be a very prominent feature of the song. So far, it's great.
In the forest, I stand open with all my senses heightened. Softly, I step forth from the earth. When for you the path has widened. Pursuit gives way to voyage as the ice begins to thaw. While blue eyes stare elusive, keep the pace from shore to calm.
It's just a very chill, and that's a weird spot to stop it. But the more I think, like, this song becomes like a what's the word I'm looking for? It's just calming in a sense that you kind of lose yourself in the beat, in the flow of the lyrics, and in the guitar riffs, and you kind of lose track of where you're at in there, which is kind of a cool effect that's going on with this song. Vocals are great, and obviously things like, again, they're going very low tech for intentionally, and it works. So things sound like they would have sounded on a record, 40 years ago. And it works so well with this band and what they're trying to do, and I love it. I love that there's a band out there, and I'm sure there's more, but I love that there's a band out there that doesn't feel the need to try to match all the newest tech and the newest sound and the newest everything, because what they're creating is something very nostalgic, but also an art form all in its own. Like, the music that came out of that era was truly artistic, and that is what they're carrying forward in this. And I love that they're carrying that on, just like the last band that I kind of talked about, the influences. This is even more so, going so far into it that they're kind of carrying the torch of bands that, again, have been gone for a long time. Really struggling with the wolf. Very cool. Very cool piece. I even loved like the credits at the end, everything. Like I think one of the comments on the video is I can't wait for the VHS to release. You know, it harkens back to those times. A lot of people, I think a lot of younger people today are going to look at this and not understand. Whereas I look at this and this is my childhood in music and fantasy and D&D and all of the things that I grew up loving as a kid and a teenager, all blended into one and in a format that's familiar to me. And I love that they're carrying that sort of torch forward, with this style and with this feel and sound. Castle Rat is a fantastic band, musically awesome, vocals awesome, and I love the artistic nature of what they're doing, with this format is fantastic. Jewelry by the Great Frog Knight. I love that even the credits are throwing out some really cool stuff. Chainmail, who did the chainmail costuming? I think Riley Pinkerton, if I remember. Yeah, she's the vocalist. Um, did the costuming, did the edits. Well done. So very cool stuff. Definitely go check out Castle Rat. If you have not already subscribed to their channel, go subscribe now, especially if you love this type of music. You've got to check out. There's so much more on their channel. Be sure to subscribe here, and I will try to get some streams in this weekend, game streams if I can. I've got a show this weekend, one of my big shows of the year. It's local, so I come home every day, but it's a big show, so I'm going to be tired. So I'll try to give you some content this weekend, but it may be hit or miss. Otherwise, I will see you guys all again soon. You have a great one. Much love. Bye.